This is attorney Allison, and she is going to be questioning Andromeda. This is direct exam.
Would you introduce yourself to the court today?
My name is Andromeda Liberty McGee, but you can call me Al.
Now, Mrs. McGee, what do you do for a living?
I own a bar with my husband Bobby called The Last Outback.
Let's talk a little bit about you and Mr. Umber and your guys' relationship. How do you know Mr. Umber?
He is one of the regulars at my bar.
And how would you describe him?
Well, before I met Mr. Umber, well, Johnny I call him, people had told me he had a reputation for being kind of violent when he didn't get his way, but besides one small skirmish with his brother-in-law, I never noticed anything. He was always very polite, always helped me take out the garbage. He was such a gentleman.
So has he ever done anything that someone might find kind of annoying?
Well, he does have this thing he calls the triple play, which is a mashup of these horrible songs that can when played repeatedly, be very annoying.
And has this triple play ever affected you personally?
It's annoyed me, but it's never driven me to act on it at all.
Okay, well, let's move on to the night of the crime. Where was John?
He was at my bar for about 4 hours.
And was he doing anything while at your bar?
He was drinking, but nothing I would consider excessive. Like, he was very in control of his own actions.
Now, explain what happened next.
Frankie Baker came, and they were having a conversation. I couldn't hear what they were saying, but Johnny seemed pretty annoyed. Eventually, he told him to just beat it, and Frankie left. After that, he stayed for long enough to listen to his triple play about once more through, and then he left.
And how did he act while he was leaving?
Well, he did seem annoyed, like anyone would after a small argument with a friend, but he didn't seem violent in any way.
Now, after you closed, what were you doing?
I was taking out the trash.
And while you were taking out the garbage, what did you hear?
I heard John's triple play coming from his black Chrysler across the street, and the music was loud enough that I could hear the vocals. And I heard suddenly the song stopped mid-song, and I heard some glass shatter, and someone yelled, "Get up" or "Get out" or something like that.
So what did you see after you heard all of this?
Well, I saw a figure who looked like the defendant, Grayson Dula, standing outside John's car, and there wasn't a lot of light, but from what I could see, it looked like he grabbed his collar and pulled him out of his car. They wrestled for a little while, and then I heard footsteps and saw the man that looked like Grayson Dula standing under one of the pools of light, and I heard a scream, a horrid scream, and after that, Grayson Dula was standing with his arm pointed straight out at the car, and then he started running towards John, and that's when I heard the gunshot.
You mentioned the lighting a while ago. Could you go a little bit more in depth on that?
Sure. There were street lamps about every 100 feet. A few of them were burnt out, but there was definitely enough light to see what was going on.
What did you do after this?
I ran straight inside. I didn't wait any longer, and I called the police.
So you mentioned in your witness statement that you heard Grayson Dula scream a loud scream. Could you talk about that for a little bit?
Yes, I heard him scream, "That's what you get." The voice sounded very loud, proud, angry. I would describe it sounding purposeful.
No further questions.